And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Monday, October 30th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down an 11-game NBA slate. We are back. First full week of the NBA season. Oh, it feels good. Thank you guys for being here. As you know, hit the like button as you get in the door. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Follow me right here on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Drop the coffee cup. Don't know what you mean. Don't know what you mean, Nate. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hope you guys had a fun weekend. Hope you enjoyed NFL yesterday. I did not play any NBA Saturday or Sunday. I really wanted to recharge the batteries after Monday through Friday. I feel good. Dr. DFS, I might look a little tired. I am not. I had a great night's sleep. Slept like a baby, woke up, 5 a.m. is still not fun yet. My body's not ready for it, but now I feel good. Had a pretty easy day yesterday. Noise in the back. Oh, gotcha. No, I was, I was getting the fish oil, vitamin D, and theanine pills out behind me. So that's what you guys heard. That's what it was. Guys, 11 games. We got a lot to break down. I did a bit of work over the weekend, cleaned some things up that I think desperately needed to be cleaned up. I think will help us out tremendously as we project everything that we need to do. I think that'll be a good time. You guys tell me, though. I got to add one more thing here because I realized I didn't do it. There's one. Actually, we're going to go all the way to the top for this one. How'd the weekend go, folks? Do you guys have a good weekend? Anything interesting? Mine was pretty tame. I enjoyed my Saturday in a big way because I just needed a break after Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I went pretty hard last week. It's not going to be so bad moving forward. That first week is really hard just because you have no familiarity with the league in that moment. You have no, all of your priors are from 6 months ago. So it makes it kind of difficult. I hated it. The first week's always the worst week. I'm excited for it to be back, but it is, without question, the worst week that you can get to. By the time Friday was over, I didn't want to play NBA DFS. I couldn't have been less interested in NBA DFS. I just knew that I didn't want it. And now I'm ready to play all week. It's going to be a great, other than the schedule right now, which is really next level annoying. The 11 games to 3 games to 11 games to 3 games to 11 games. I don't like that roller coaster. It's just sort of what we have to deal with during the NFL season. Although they do run a shit ton of games on Monday, so not all of it makes sense. You want it to, but not all of it makes sense. Just about done my little prep here on the back end. And then once I am, we can get started. I desperately want to have some of that coffee. So the quicker that we can get to that, the better. Promo code tip off. I want you guys to sign up at Stochastic. You guys have done a great job of doing this through the first week. Signups on the process have been fantastic, but you still have 2 more days. This deal is going to go away. 20% off any one of our NBA packages. Whoopsie daisy. Accidentally hit the back button. Yanked myself clean out of StreamYard. Promo code tip off, 20% off. You guys got to get yourself in the door. I think the Sims tool will help you guys out tremendously if you want to try it. It's especially good, I think, for people that want a little bit of extra control. I don't necessarily recommend that, but if you want to like bump players up, all it's going to do is make sure that you're getting the best possible lineups when you do that. And that's not the same sort of situation that you would have had with previous tools around the industry. So sign up. You'll get our projections, our ownership, our boom bust tool. But you can also have access to the Sims tool, the ability to late swap in the Sims tool. So if somebody gets ruled out, you can pull that person out, have all of your updated projections, redo your lineups, and get the positive ROI stuff with this brand new outlook on the slate. And if all of that sounds too much, we still have the lineup generator. Think of it like DFS Tinder. Lineup pops up on your screen. If you like it, click save. If you don't, click discard. You could cycle through over and over again, swap players out, lock them, generate contrarian lineups, chalky lineups, balanced lineups, whatever you want to do there, you can do it. So if you want to go full bore, go hardcore into the Sims, I highly recommend it. But if that doesn't sound like your bag, we still have the lineup generator along with our data for you. Again, tip off is the promo code. Links are in the description of this video. 20% off. This deal is going to go away in 2 days. If you don't take advantage now, you're not going to be able to see what we have behind the paywall. Alrighty. I think I'm ready to go. I think we're good. Slowly but surely getting everything we need into this workbook. So if you guys are ready, I am ready. I've got everything pulled up that we could need for today. We're going to be looking up rates and all that other good stuff. Let's have some fun. We're probably going to be here for 90 minutes easy. So, coffee time. What's up, everybody? Time to do it. I've got a coffee. I hope you guys do as well. If you don't have a coffee, if you've got tea, water, a beer, something else crazy coming off of Sunday night, if you're snacking, smoking, whatever you got going on right now, rise and grind. Time to break down some basketball. Cheers, everybody. Let's do this. And remember, we're looking for 100 likes by the time we get to 7 a.m. 100 people in the door. Maybe it's just all 100 people. Good. It's good. Tastes like I didn't put any sweetener in it, but I'm going to be good. Oh, man. Well, here we go. Let's share the screen and let's talk some basketball. Screen shared. Perfect. That's not the view we're looking for. Let's go like that. And we can bump that up to there, I think. Let's go on 90. That'll be perfect. The Brooklyn Nets are 1.5-point favorites in Charlotte. 228 total. I'm going to pull up the 6:30 injury report as well. 6:30 injury report loaded. No Armani Brooks, no Nick Claxton, no Noah Clowney, no Cam Johnson, no Derek Whitehead, no Jalen Wilson. So what really matters in that statement is no Cam Johnson, no Nick Claxton, I hope you guys all love the Dayron Sharp experience in their last game. That went swimmingly for everyone, I'm sure. I'm going to cut that entire rotation to start. I think that's just going to be a little bit easier. I wish that I could share 2 Excel windows at the same time in StreamYard. I might have to move this out of StreamYard in the near future. Okay, so let's get Dinwiddie in. Maybe I could hop over like this. All right, so Dinwiddie, they played 2 games. Dinwiddie played 40 minutes with everybody hurt. I think we're going to get pretty big minutes out of Dinwiddie here. So I'm going to go 34 to start. Oh, God, this Dayron Sharp shit is going to be annoying again. It's going to be so incredibly annoying again. Let's look at that Brooklyn rotation, what they did 2 nights ago. All right, there we go. Yeah, Dayron Sharp, 3.4 minutes. Insane. Insane. All right, so we got Spencer Dinwiddie starting. We need to figure out. So I guess we're going to get Cam Thomas then at the 2. He played 33 minutes. That feels lofty, but seems like that's the direction they're going. So we're going to go 32. I'm going to assume we get then Mikal Bridges 3, Dorian Finney-Smith 4, Spencer or Ben Simmons 5. So if we get Mikal Bridges in, I'm going to go 35 to Bridges. We get Dorian Finney-Smith. He played 32 minutes. Seems pretty likely that he would do something similar again. We'll go 31. And then Ben Simmons played 32. I think we got to go with that as well. Let me take another sip. All right. So then we need to fill in with the rest of these guys. Royce O'Neal was the first guy off the bench. He played 34 minutes. Hard to ever project anybody for 34 minutes off the bench. So I'm going to go to 30. That seems like what they want to do. Lonnie Walker was the next guy off the bench. He played 21 minutes. I think it's very safe to assume he plays another 20. DSJ finally got in. He played 8 minutes. I'm going to go 10 there. And maybe 16 to Dayron Sharp. I don't think they're only going to run like 7 guys again. That seems aggressive. They didn't go to Trendon Watford at all, which was interesting. I think this works for right now as a decent like placeholder. Now, if we want to think about rates, it's not like Nick Claxton's going to make much of a difference here. For the most part, I'm okay with these rates. However, it does feel a little bit like I need to get Cam Thomas a slightly higher usage rate. If we just want to say, just like for this year, two games, Cam Thomas has a 34.5% usage rate. Now, do I think that Cam Thomas is going to have that kind of usage rate? I sure don't. But it could. I mean, this dude is going to go for it. All he likes to do is shoot. That's his jam, man, across the board. So I am pulling in last year just to see if we need to bump up off of 23. Because 23 as the default just feels a hair low. I'm also going to need to bump Mikal Bridges, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so Cam Thomas usage rate. I think we're going to go to like 26. Mikal Bridges, in the entire time that he has been in Brooklyn, has a 29% usage rate. I think that works pretty well. After that, I don't really think we have many other changes to make. So we're going to let that roll for Brooklyn. We're going to hop over to Charlotte now. Great spot for Charlotte. Hornets are, like I said, 1.5 point dogs. They are at home, however. Did not look great their last time out. Where's that game hiding? Yeah, got beat by Detroit. Blech, not ideal. Do we have any injuries for Charlotte? No Book Night. Bridges, Cody Martin, Ntilikina. So nothing crazy here. This should be a pretty standard rotation for the Charlotte Hornets team. Let's see, just minutes for Charlotte. They played 2 games. Brandon Miller did get up to 33 minutes in that second game. They played same 9-man rotation both games, so feel good here. 32 minutes for LaMelo. Seems about where his rotation is going to be. Mark Williams played 21 minutes in that game against the Pistons. Nick Richards played 16. So they went to PJ Washington at the 4, I'm guessing. That I actually don't know. Williams in Richards direct backup. They closed out the second quarter, not with PJ Washington, but with JT Thor, Brandon Miller, Gordon Hayward, Rozier, and Ball. That's an interesting closing lineup. It was +3. Mark Williams then picked up another foul at the start of the quarter. Nick Richards came in. So then they went to more of what I guess we would call JT Thor at the 5. I don't expect that to be anything other than a foul trouble situation. So I'm going to go and maintain 29-19 for Mark Williams and Nick Richards. And then 32 for PJ Washington feels about right. 32 for Gordon Hayward feels about right. Actually, might make that 33 for Hayward. 25 for Brandon Miller does feel a minute low, but maybe that was he did play massive rotations across the end of the first, beginning of the second, end of the third, beginning of the fourth. 34 for Terry Rozier feels pretty spot on. Peach at 32. Maybe I make that 31. I think what I have in here right now works. LaMelo's usage rate has already been bumped. Terry Rozier's usage rate has already bumped a little bit. Brandon Miller's usage rate so far this season, I should probably go ahead and grab that. So let's get Charlotte. Where is Charlotte? Why can't I? Dude, I can't even see. All right, let's get I got to get the energy up. 122 people, hit the like button. Let's do this. I got to suck down more. Honestly, my coffee's a little hot, and I'm having trouble drinking it. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Brandon Miller, 20% usage rate. So I actually don't really care too much about changing it. So we're going to say game 1 is in the books. Let's take a look at it here. We're going to start on the Brooklyn side. And as I look at it, a couple good options. I don't think anybody's going to be that surprised. Just knowing that Nick Claxton isn't there and knowing that Cam Johnson isn't there, that's just going to free up a lot of minutes. I mean, we're talking about like 60 minutes, basically. So Cam Thomas is 5,100 on DraftKings, 6,700 on FanDuel. FanDuel got out in front of this. DraftKings did not. There's a possibility that you could play Day'Ron Sharpe. You're going to feel like you're going to get bit by it, but he's still 3,300. If you think that he's going to be you didn't need him as much against Dallas. I think that might be a little bit different against Charlotte. Feels like you would want, I mean, they've got 2 legitimate centers. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Dorian Finney-Smith for 4K, I think looks pretty good. He's a 0.75 guy. Royce O'Neal, 4,100. If he's going to play 30 minutes off the bench, I think he's a little bit interesting. Spencer Dinwiddie helped me out tremendously. Whether that was Thursday or Friday, I don't totally remember. Yeah, guys, thank you. Thank you. You're right. Those salaries are wrong. Good eye. I'm not back in my rhythm yet. So these are whatever salaries existed on Friday. Easy fix, guys. I'll have this in 2 seconds. Good shout out, though. Good shout out. I'm glad you guys had the eye. Look, it's 6:50. I'm allowed to make all mistakes before 7 a.m. because it's too early. It's just way too early. All right. Boom and boom. Salary files downloaded. Don't know why my thing didn't download those for me, but they didn't. So, problem solved. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so a little bit different on DraftKings. Cam Thomas, 6K. Not the best price tag. DraftKings isn't asleep at the wheel. This looks a little bit better. Dorian Finney-Smith, though, still does look solid enough at 4,100. Actually, that's going to let me want to make one small change here. Actually, no, that's going to be fine. So, yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith is probably the best point per dollar play. Royce O'Neal works as a solid point per dollar play. There's certainly upside to Cam Thomas, but be aware of what you could get there, which could be like a very inefficient scoring day. Dinwiddie for 6,100. So what I was saying for Dinwiddie, I had Spencer Dinwiddie in one of my prize picks cards on Friday. I went 7-1 in my 8 picks from Tuesday to Friday on prize picks. 3 out of the 4 winning days. So I hope you're watching that prize picks video on the Odds Shopper channel. There are no overwhelming priorities from Brooklyn, but I think that you're going to be getting to Thomas, Smith, Bridges, O'Neal, Dinwiddie. Great filler here. On the FanDuel end, it's probably Royce O'Neal as my favorite option. Maybe Dinwiddie. Now, on the Charlotte end, why is Nick Smith projecting like that? Don't know. Gonna fix it. 4 minutes from Nick Smith, go away. 4 minutes show up on... I don't care who they go to. I just need a name, a real name. All right, we'll give them the book night since I need a placeholder. Perfect. I like Mark Williams again. That should not be all that surprising. Did get in foul trouble the last time out, but I am a Mark Williams believer. And especially in this matchup against Brooklyn, I think Mark Williams should have a really nice night. I'd love for somebody to tell me why he wouldn't. And I bet he's not all that owned at 6,100. Like he'll be the perfect pivot center to whoever's really getting the ownership in this area. But I'm going to be on Mark Williams' hill quite a bit. Mark Williams, by the way, last year, 12% offensive rebounding rate, 26% defensive rebounding rate. That's 91st percentile offense, 94th percentile defense, 92nd percentile block shots. He's not going up against a real center today. So I'm expecting a really nice day on the boards for Mark Williams against Brooklyn. They don't really have that kind of setup right now. For the rest of Charlotte, hard to want to go to LaMelo Ball until the price comes down a little bit or you see him play a little bit more. He did get Jalen Durant. Nick Richards as a backup center isn't crazy. It's just too many games for today. If you're going to one particular Hornet, it's probably Terry Rozier, but I don't really think the Hornets side of this game looks that good. Mark Williams, and that's about it for me. The Chicago Bulls. Okay, I need to have this conversation. So I played a lot of Levine their first 2 games, and then he goes out and drops that massive scoring day in the third one. Looked like just utter dog shit when I rostered him. The moment I don't roster him, Zach LaVine goes out there and goes crazy. Infuriating, guys. Infuriating. I wanted to snap. It was so, I was so angry. All right. Bulls, 3.5-point dogs in Indiana, 226 total. For Chicago, obviously no Lonzo. Levine is probable. Honorable Batum is out. Adama Sanogo is out. What matters here is that Zach LaVine is probable, which means we're going to get what I think is their normal rotation. But screw the Bulls. Aggressively. I hate the Bulls. Yeah. 51 real points for Zach LaVine after looking like absolute shit in the other games. I couldn't be more angry. The utter nonsense. All right, so LaVine appears to be playing, 34, 35 minutes a night. I got him in for 34. We got 31 in for Kobe White. 34 for DeRozan, 34 for Vooch. All of that seems pretty fine. I actually think I might need to give Kobe White more playing time, but I don't know if I want to do that. We'll go 32 there. We'll take one away from Javon Carter. 23 for Caruso, 22 for Craig. All of that looks about right. Patrick Williams, Andre Drummond, Dosunmu, Carter. Yeah, not much else to add here. We'll go down 2 minutes here, up 2 minutes on Dosunmu, but I guess Patrick Williams is playing a little bit less. Not really closing, and they're closing with probably Caruso. So I'm going to bump Caruso up another minute, take another one off of Patrick Williams. He can close. I just don't know how frequently he will close. Now we'll go to Indiana. For the Pacers, no injuries that really matter here. I do need to take a look at their rotation just because I have not been paying close attention to Indiana. They did beat Cleveland by 12 a couple nights ago. So we got Halliburton with TJ McConnell as the backup point guard. Obi Toppin played 18 minutes. Is that just what's happening? Bruce Brown played 30. Makes sense. Halliburton, Nesmith, Turn. Oh, God, I don't like these rotations at all. At all. So we clearly need to cut Obi Toppin's minutes down. I'm going to go 22 just because he can be out there longer. I just don't know if he will. I think 30 and 16 still makes sense for Miles Turner and Jalen Smith. So now we need to think about everybody else. 30 for Mathurin, 30 for Bruce Brown. Mathurin played a lot less. Did he get hurt? Did I remember that correctly? I'm going to take 2 minutes off of Mathurin, I guess. Buddy Hield has played minimal. So it's Nembhard and Nesmith that I really need to bump up. Nembhard's played 24. Nesmith has played 26. Yeah, I got to free up a bunch of playing time. So let's get Nesmith up to 22. That takes me to 240. Now I actually do think that these minutes are going to work. So let's take a look at that and see what we're going to get here for Chicago and Indy. For the Bulls side of this one, hit that like button, by the way. It's 6:58. I haven't looked yet, but if we're not up to 100, I might just shut the stream off. All right, on the Bulls side, you know, Levine still looks solid at 7,600. Vooch looks good at 7,200. Kobe White has been bad. He's interesting at 5,100. I don't have much interest in DeRozan. I have him at 1.05 fantasy points per minute for the game. It's about where he normally is. It's a really unappealing team for Chicago today, which I'm happy about. I didn't want to go to them. Pacers side, you know, Miles Turner is in the same sort of boat as Nikola Vucevic. I think Bruce Brown is probably the best guy you can get here. We're talking 30 minutes, 5,300. You get guard forward eligibility. I don't have much else. Halliburton is probably a bit overpriced. Yeah, just another like meh game with just filler. We got to remember 11 game slates. We only really need to point out the exceptional plays. You know who's not an exceptional play? The Washington Wizards. Now maybe they have good DFS plays today, but they are 10-point underdogs at home against the Boston Celtics. Celtics 10-point favorites, 229 total. Let's take a look at what we've got here for Boston. This, I'm guessing, will be quite easy. The Boston Celtics have everybody that they could want to be available. That's always nice. So we know we're going to get massive minutes out of Tatum, it seems. It looks like, regulation or not, this dude is playing 37 minutes a night. So I'm going to bump that bad boy up. I'm going to cut out all the backup rotation dudes. Jaylen Brown is playing 35 minutes a night. I think that will stick. Drew Holiday is playing 35 minutes a night. I will bump him up to 34. Derek White, probably good around 33. And then Kristaps Porzingis, probably good around 33 as well. We get Al Horford playing somewhere around 25 minutes a night. That is perfect. Exactly what you would want to see. Then we need Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and then one of Luke Cornett or O'Shea Brissett, it seems. But let's get Pritchard some backup point guard run. And then let's get Sam Hauser some shooting guard-ish run. Now we would just want to figure out, I'm going to go 9 minutes to O'Shea Brissett, 9 minutes to Luke Cornett. That just seems smarter. And then rate-wise, I'm going to let it hold for right now and let this stuff settle out. So that's going to be Boston. I mean, I'm guessing no one looks good for Boston, but unfortunately, we still don't really want to get to Indiana, which is going to be kind of annoying. Or so I don't know why I said Indiana, to Washington, rather. Now, I am pulling up the channel. It is 7:02. Did you guys do it? Did we get to 100 likes? 77. Guys. Asleep at the wheel today. I know it's Monday. I know we got a football game tonight, but that feels like way too low of a number for what this show is. Now let's go to the Wizards, who are really just incredibly terrible at basketball. Do they have any injuries? Daniel Gafford questionable. Landry Shamet is out. So clearly we need to project Gafford in, but that's not going to be the most fun thing we do. So we've gotten... How close was their most recent game? Wizards beat Memphis by 7. Not a real Memphis team, so I don't care too much. Poole played real minutes in the I'm going to delete the whole rotation. It's going to be easier. Tyus Jones started, played normal minutes. We're going to go 29 to Tyus Jones. We're going to get Daniel Gafford in for 27. And then we'll get Kuzma in for 34. We're going to get Denny Avdia in for, 28, 29, 26, 27, 27. And then we get Jordan Poole in for, standard 34 minutes. Ugh, I really hate this team so much. They're so bad. They're so aggressively bad. All right, Corey Kispert played a shit ton off the bench. We're not going to go too crazy there. He did play 24 minutes in the opener. I think 27 or 28 for Kispert makes a ton of sense. We are getting DeLon Wright as the backup point guard. I'm just going to give DeLon Wright 19 minutes right away. We're also getting Bilal Coulibaly, Gallo, and Mike Muscala. Now, Muscala doesn't appear to be playing massive minutes. Played 11 and 8, so it's not full backup run. So I think we're going to give Mike Muscala 10 minutes, which will allow Gallo to play a little bit at the 5, which is what I assume they're kind of doing here. Gallo played minimal minutes as well, so nothing too crazy there. Gallo went 17 in the opener, 7.5 in game 2. I think if we give him like 12, 13, something like that, then leaves us the final amount of minutes. Well, I have 19 here going to Coulibaly. That is not going to be how many minutes we give him. Coulibaly can certainly get... you know what? I don't think 19 is all that crazy. Enjoyable all. Enjoy. This pothole of a basketball team. All right, let's look at this game. This is going to be game number 3. Boston Celtics. Like I said, 10-point favorites, 229 total. Hard to go to Boston. 6,800 for Drew Holiday. Look, at some point in time, he's going to look exceptional. 0.93 DraftKings points per minute so far. I got him at a fantasy point per minute. He's interesting at that price tag. When you get to that kind of price tag for someone like Drew, like you don't have any problem picturing him scoring 50 fantasy points on his best day. So it's okay. I don't have too much to say here for Derek White or Brown or Tatum or Porzingis for that matter. It's just really hard to pick any one of those guys out of the lineup. There's just too much talent. On the Wizards end, if Gafford is playing, he's certainly interesting at 5,100. I don't really want all that much Jordan Poole or Kyle Kuzma today. I don't think those prices are all that good, and they're in terrible spots. I mean, the kind of defense that these guys are going to see is really problematic. I would not be playing anybody on Washington like on purpose. So, 175 people in here, 37 minutes, 3 games down. We're on to game 4. This is the game with the highest total on the slate. Very interested to see it. Minnesota Timberwolves, 1.5 point favorites in Atlanta, 234 total. Atlanta coming off the dub against Milwaukee, beat them by 17 yesterday. So Atlanta is on the back-to-back. Let's talk through the Minnesota Timberwolves now. Like I said, favorites in Atlanta with the biggest total. As we look at this game, Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels questionable. Wendell Moore out. That's all. Leonard Miller out. Both guys, Miller and Moore, are both with the G League. Atlanta doesn't have a lineup yet because they are on the back-to-back. So it'll be a little bit more difficult to be confident for Atlanta. No idea what they're going to be doing for rest. Can't imagine this is a national TV game. So what we need to do is project out the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Wolves beat Miami by 16. No Jimmy Butler in that one. Hilarity ensues. So let's figure out what we want to do here with... I already forgot. Minnesota. God, my brain is just not firing the way I wanted to today. Tomorrow's going to be great. I'm going to feel amazing. It's going to be like no carbohydrates today, just clean living. All right. I'm going to delete this entire rotation for Minnesota. And then we're going to go ahead and pop in 30 minutes for Mike Conley. That is a typical Mike Conley day. We're going to get 35 for Edwards, 34 for Towns, 32 for Gobert, 32 for Gobert, 34 for Towns, 35 for Edwards. Oh, I guess we need to actually project Jaden McDaniels to play as well. Since he is questionable, I got to put him in the game. Has not played yet. Let's just say he plays 30 tonight. Am I going to be wearing a costume for tomorrow? No, I will not. Not a Halloween guy. Not a Halloween guy. Not a holidays guy, I guess. Okay, so we need to get Naz Reid minutes. I don't know, 24 feels pretty safe. Something like that. And we need to get slow-mo minutes. He's played a little bit differently since McDaniels is out. I think, 24 or something for slow-mo is going to be in the ballpark. And then we're missing Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Shake Milton, and I'm guessing Troy Brown leaves the rotation if Jaden McDaniels is back. So let's say Shake Milton is just the backup point guard. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker would have 13 minutes left over. So that's not going to work for me. I got to get him. I need to find 8 more minutes. So I'm going to take 2 off of Naz Reid for sure. I'm going to take 2 off of Jaden McDaniels for sure. And then I'm going to split some of this time. We're going to take 2 minutes away from Shake Milton and give them the Walker. Not going to matter too much, but we do need to check that one out. So that's going to be Minnesota. Let's look at the Atlanta side of this one. Or the Hawks. And we don't know what they're going to be doing on a back-to-back. That is important. They are coming off a really nice win in Milwaukee with the full normal starting five for Milwaukee. That's a big win for Atlanta. Jalen Johnson moved into the starting lineup over Saddiq Bey. He still only played 26 minutes. Was in a bit of foul trouble. Had one in his first rotation in the first quarter, picked up two more in the second, and then picked one up immediately in the third. But at that point in time, by the time he needed to come back out there and play, they didn't need to close a game or anything. It does seem like they wanted to close with with Jalen Johnson. So let's move this rotation around a little bit. And I'm going to take Jalen Johnson up to 29 minutes. I'm going to drop Saddiq Bey at the 4 down to 19. He still played 31 minutes, so he's going to be out there. But you can't project in the same way as Jalen Johnson, so I'm going to go to 26. That leaves me then 12 minutes left over for AJ Griffin, who sort of got those minutes. So that's going to be Minnesota-Atlanta. Very curious to see this. So on the Minnesota end, again, 234 total. This is the highest total on today's slate. So do we end up finding something we like here? No immediate priorities. If McDaniels is back, it's a little trickier. Now, it's the Beasley-Dame combo is really, really, really bad defensively. If I'm going to anybody, it's probably Conley. I don't mind Gobert. 8,400 for Towns. At least he has the power forward eligibility, but there's nobody here that we should be going to majorly. Nothing at all. And then on Atlanta, okay, so, Jalen Johnson for 5K. I'm a fan of that play for sure. He's going to be, I would imagine, the highest owned Hawk. He's 6K on FanDuel, so way less interesting there. Capella is a decent center. I think Saddiq Bey is still okay at 4,600. All it takes is Jalen Johnson making a couple young player mistakes, and Saddiq Bey could close this game. So I don't mind going to Bey at small forward, power forward. But that's not going to be a lot. That's not not a priority. Johnson would be the priority in this game. You can flip-flop between Capella and Okongwu. I don't really see the appeal for Trae Young or for DeJounte Murray, but clearly Trae Young, if he goes for 54 fantasy points, that's 6x. I think he does that 19% of the time. I don't think we're going to be too sad about that. You might need a little bit more to get to the upper top end, but 54 for Trae wouldn't be the most insane thing. Just not as much in that game as I was expecting to see. This is kind of a bummer, guys. It really is. This slate is just not working out like I thought it was going to. Let's go to another team that is just utter garbage. The Portland Trailblazers, 7.5-point dogs in Toronto, 217 total. This is the lowest total on the slate. Barring any weird pricing because of Portland not having Anthony Simons, I can't imagine we like anything in this game because of the total. We're talking about 17 less points than the game before that. That's 17 fantasy points, ignoring 3-point bonuses and all the additional possessions for rebounds and things. This is going to be an actively bad game unless there's broken pricing. Now, it sucks that Anthony Simons is out. Portland's on the back-to-back. They got beat by 28 against Philly last night. Every bit of this is going to be awful to look at. All of it. Just clean across the board, terrible. So let's think it through. We're going to get Scoot in the starting lineup, obviously. So Scoot played 36 in the opener, 25 and 26 the past two. Obviously, there are some game scenarios that matter for that one. I think we have to go, 32 for Scoot. And then Shaedon Sharpe. I'm going to be realistic about some of these projections to start. So I'm going to go 32 across the board for some of these starters. 32 for Scoot, 32 for Sharpe. Matisse Thybulle, they don't seem to be really married to this thought process. He has been... That's not even really foul trouble. That's just him being bad, I guess. What do we do? 16 minutes to Thybulle, 18 minutes to Thybulle, 20 minutes to Thybulle. How good can you feel about it here? I'll go 18. Jeremy Grant is going to be much easier to project. He's going to play whatever minutes he wants to play pretty much every day as long as they're competitive. So we're going to give Jeremy Grant 34. DeAndre Ayton, not the best start for him. He played 20 minutes, didn't play the fourth quarter because they got steamrolled. So let's go 30 to Ayton. Go 18 to Time Lord. Can't imagine these guys. Oh, okay. So these guys are playing alongside of each other for large swaths of time. Or at least they did. All right. Well, they're willing to play these guys alongside of each other. That's something. Let's go 22 minutes to Robert Williams. We'll bump 4 minutes off of DeAndre Ayton. Now we can fill out the rest of these guys. Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, first guys off the bench. Brogdon played 26. That feels like that's going to be like a real thing for Malcolm Brogdon. So let's get him in for 26. And we need Kamara and Jabari Walker at a minimum. Tumani Kamara played 27 minutes. A lot of that was blowout run, but looks like he's going to be playing off the bench at a minimum. We're going to take him up to 22. We're going to get Jabari Walker in there as well for... Just going to give him 18. And then I have 6 minutes left over that I will hide on Chris Murray. So that is going to be Portland's side of this one. Don't feel great about making usage adjustments right now, but we can evaluate that with props later today. Oh, by the way, I buried the biggest lead of them all for today. Guys, I'm going full screen for this one. I buried one of the more important things. Today, here's the schedule for today. Strategy show at 10 o'clock. Deeper dive later today, probably at 4:45. Do you know who's co-hosting those shows with me today? Welcome back, Adam Scher. Ship My Money DFS is back in the building. First show today. So he and I will be on the strategy show this morning. You do not want to miss it. That's the reason you guys should hit that like button. Okay, let's get to Toronto now. On the Raptors end of this one, they played most recently in a 7-point loss to Philadelphia 2 nights ago. For Toronto, we have Precious Achiuwa doubtful. That's actually really important news for Jakob Poeltl. Q-tag on OG Anunoby. Christian Koloko is out. This actually matters. No Precious matters. I mean, he played 18 minutes, but he played a massive rotation in this Philly game after Jakob Poeltl picked up 2 fouls. So this shouldn't be too bad to project out Toronto's rotation. I am going to gut everybody just to make my life a little bit easier. So we're going to pop Scotty Barnes in for 37% usage. Or sorry, for 37 minutes. Seems like that's what he's doing. Similar story. I'm going to do the same thing for Pascal Siakam. You know what? I'm going to go 36-36 because of who they're playing. I don't like that for Portland. We're going to go 34 to Dennis Schroeder. That's more playing time than I was expecting, but kudos to him. Gary Trent. Minutes have been interesting because of the OG Q tag. Now, we're obviously projecting OG Anunoby to play. I'm going to go 33 to OG, and I think that we go 30 to Gary Trent. I'm going to go 29 to Trent. Jakob Poeltl played 24 minutes, 19 minutes, and 25 minutes. I think that has to go up. I think we get I'm going to go 29 minutes to Jakob Poeltl. I'm going to assume they go to Boucher. That will be my assumption as backup center. Now, the rest of this should handle itself pretty easily. Grady Dick finally played with Anunoby out. Malachi Flynn plays some sort of minimal amount of minutes, it seems. So we'll go 9 here. We'll get Grady Dick in for a little bit of minutes, and maybe I'll hide 6 on Thad Young. Or Jalen McDaniels, maybe. Yeah, I'll hide 6 on Jalen McDaniels. We're going to go there for right now. Let's look at this game. Remember, lowest total on the slate, 217 total. The Portland side looks terrible. I don't know if anybody on Portland is playable to the degree that, like, you prioritize them in lineup construction. Like, it doesn't mean that you can't play some of these guys, but none of these guys are first choices. Not a single soul. This total and this pace of game is just tough to stomach. On the Toronto end, I really like Jakob Poeltl for 5,600. He's going to look a lot like every other center, but Jakob Poeltl is a long-term 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy. Without Precious Achiuwa in this game, as long as Jakob Poeltl isn't getting into foul trouble, I think we're going to be okay here. I like this spot quite a bit, especially if those young guards of Portland, if we're going to be getting Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe coming into the paint, like Jakob Poeltl is not the guy that you want to meet at the rim. So I think Jakob Poeltl looks really solid in that range, but add him to the list with Mark Williams. If I'm going to anybody else, it's probably OG Anunoby if he plays. OG Anunoby being shooting guard only is a crime. You can make a case that OG Anunoby should have all 5 positions. Insanity. All right, watch is charged. Let's get that back on the wrist. All right, we're almost at the hour mark. We've been going for 53 minutes. We did get over 100 likes, so I can shut up about that. Now we can just, now we can keep it moving. So far, we have not seen a really great game. Like, I can't watch Brooklyn, Charlotte. I don't want to watch Chicago, Indiana, Boston, Washington. Minnesota, Atlanta, I guess, is a little interesting. Portland, Toronto is shit. Dallas, Memphis in this iteration is shit. Miami, Milwaukee on a back-to-back after losing. I guess that's good. Golden State, Pels, fun game. Pistons, Oklahoma City is fun-ish. Utah, Denver is going to be bad. Orlando and the Lakers, I'm in for. Late night hammer. Sign me up for that. Okay, let's go to Dallas. The Mavs are 2.5-point favorites in Memphis. 227 total. No Dallas injury news that we need to worry about. Memphis is still the same. No Adams, Aldama, Clark, Kennard, or Ja Morant. I don't expect to see a lot of changes made in this one. So we just need to pay attention to the minutes on guys that are a little bit squirrely. So in the 2 games we've seen so far, Derek Lively's played 31 minutes and 17 minutes. We can feel pretty safe about 28 minutes going to Tim Hardaway. That part, I think, is pretty easy. Derek Jones Jr. is playing just super stupid lineups that don't make a ton of sense. Grant Williams is playing 32 minutes a night. We got 35 minutes a night for Luka and Kyrie. I have that all correct. So those pieces seem fine. Maxey, I'm going to bump up to 24. I really don't know how to do Derek Lively's minutes. So what happened in that game where Luka went in game 2 for them? So they beat Brooklyn by 5. Lively starts, doesn't play at all. Did Lively get hurt at all? Huh. Why did he only play 17 minutes with no foul trouble? I guess because Dwight Powell's back. Who closed? No, Powell played that fourth quarter. What did they close with? Kyrie. They didn't even really close with Grant Williams. They closed with Maxey, Hardaway, Green, Luka, and Kyrie. So they closed with Maxey at the 5. Man, this Dallas team is weird. I definitely don't think 26 minutes for Lively is the right number. I'm going to go like 22. I think we got to get Dwight Powell like 14. And then, let's see, who are we missing then? Who's the last person in this rotation that I'm missing? That's 8 guys that have 22 minutes left. Is it Exum? No. Who don't I have projected right now that I should? Oh, Derek Jones Jr., your faux starter. Good God, guys. All right. So Derek Jones Jr., he's just not playing all that much. I guess I'll go 16 minutes. I don't trust it. And then I'll hide 6 minutes on Exum. Welcome back to the league. Let's go to Memphis. Memphis team is sad to think about to start this season. I don't want to see these guys being 0-3. They lost to the damn Wizards. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right, 33 minutes for Marcus Smart is fine. $33 minutes for Smart. I'm going to go 32 for Jackson, 34 for Bane. Boom. And boom. Tyre Williams is playing 31 minutes tonight. That'll work. And then who am I missing? Who's the 4th starter? Oh, yeah, Tillman. Okay. 32 here. Bang. Tillman has played 34, 34, and 24. He had 4 fouls. In the middle of a 25-6 run there. That's kind of crazy. Had 2. It wasn't foul trouble. It just, I guess, wasn't having that kind of game. So I'm going to go 31 to Tillman. Did they keep Jackson out there every time Tillman wasn't out there? Hold on. For the most part, yes. But not entirely. I guess they went to Lofton or Roddy, some other fake person for center. So let's do this. We get 32 minutes to Jaren Jackson, 14 at center, 18 at the 4. Derrick Rose, backup point guard, Marcus Smart. Straight backup, and then they played a little bit alongside of each other at the end, but we don't really care too much about Derrick Rose's minutes, so we're going to go 15 minutes to Derrick Rose. That'll help. And then we got to get Big Body Roddy. Conchar is playing pretty big minutes. Roddy's playing like 22. Laravia's playing like 15. So let's get Roddy in for 22. Let's get Jake Laravia in for 16. And then let's get Conchar in for 22. 3 final minutes to Kenneth Lofton Jr. Now, I do want to see the rates for Memphis across their games so far and lock in, the good, the right stuff for this fake team that is missing 100+ minutes. You guys excited for today's slate? Because so far, I haven't seen a lot that is going to be like really appealing. And we have Monday Night Football tonight, which complicates matters a bit. All right. Usage rate so far this season for the Memphis Grizzlies. Bane is at 30, and I feel completely comfortable with that. Jaren Jackson is at 19. I do not feel comfortable with that, so I'm not going to touch it. Marcus Smart is at 20. Anybody else using a lot of possessions? 28 going to Derrick Rose. Okay. I think we're going to do something like that. That'll work for me. Has Bane's assist rate been any different? Now, that's hard to read into so far. 6%. I will give him a little bit of a bump. Marcus Smart has not been his normal self either. But I think we're going to be good there for Memphis, which means we could go and take a look at game number 6. Yeah, S&P, I think you're right. I think you're right. All right, on the Dallas end, you're definitely going to Luka before Kyrie, but not by anything crazy. Luka, by the way, 2.12 DraftKings points per minute so far this season. That's a number. That is a number. I don't see anything here for Dallas other than I think Josh Green will be an okay value option at 4,100. As will look $3,500 maxi. You're going to need 35 fantasy points out of him in 24 minutes. Is that viable? Sort of. It's going to be a tough sell. But if he's power forward center 3,500, it's worth a look. I think Josh Green is the easiest guy to get to. On the Memphis end, 8,600 for Bane. I'll be there. 4,600 for Zaire Williams. That's probably your best option here for Memphis. 0.75 fantasy points per minute, but not good. And then, Marcus Smart's fine too. Tillman is in the center group. 8,200 for Jaren Jackson. I mean, you're going to be looking for, let's see, he could hit 7x 6% of the time. That's 57-ish fantasy points. He's not the craziest option. There are no major priorities here. I would rank it Zaire Williams and then Desmond Bane as my 2 favorite Grizz. We are more than halfway there, folks. 233 people in the house. We're going to Miami and Milwaukee. Miami Heat are 5-point dogs in Milwaukee, 223 total. Milwaukee's on the back-to-back. They lost last night to Atlanta by 17. Your guess is as good as mine what the Bucks will do today on that back-to-back. I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see somebody sitting out. But for Miami, Haywood Highsmith is out. Jaime Jaquez is available. Love is back. No Caleb Martin. Well, Caleb Martin doubtful. Josh Richardson doubtful. Duncan Robinson is available. So I'm going to delete everything that's here just to make this a little bit easier. We're going to take a look at the Miami minutes from this season thus far. Tyler Hero playing massive minutes. We're going to pop him in immediately for 36. And then we're going to get Kyle Lowry in for 31. We get Kevin Love back now. I'm going to go 24 minutes to Love. And then we've gotten Bam for 33. I'm going to get Bam for 33. And I assume we could just pop Thomas Bryant in for the other 15. More or less, yes. And then finally, Jimmy is going to be in for 34. So getting the starters out of the way plus backup center is pretty easy. After that, we're going to need to project. Oh, man, who knows? Okay, so we're going to have no Caleb Martin, no Josh Richardson, no Haywood Highsmith. So Jaime Jaquez is going to be there. Jamal Cain is probably going to play. Jaquez is probably going to play like 16 minutes. Let's just pop 14 in for right now. Does Jovic play here? Feels like he does, right? Duncan Robinson was the first guy off the bench against Minnesota. He's played about 24 minutes a night. I'm going to pop that on right now, just so we know. So then what we're missing, Drew Smith and Jamal Cain were the next two guys off the bench. Okay. So Drew Smith is 6'2". Jamal Cain is 6'6". All right. So I'm going to get those guys on there, split their minutes. Let's get Drew Smith out there for 17, I think. And then we have 12 minutes left over, and I'm just going to, whether that's Jamal Cain or Jovic, I don't really care. It's 12 minutes to Cain in my eyes. I think we move forward from that. Oh, no, we got to grab usage rates here. I need Miami usage rates for the past 2 seasons. And we need Lowry, Butler, Bam, and Tyler Hero all played in the game. I need usage rates. I can't imagine this game looks good. But if Milwaukee sits anybody today, then it's not crazy if they sit Giannis today, or Dame for that matter. One of those, assuming this game isn't on national TV, I guess I should look at that. ESPN. Let's see. This game is... Where do I see this shit? This game, what's the national... Is there a national TV game today? It's on 8 o'clock, so I guess it can't be. Yeah, no, this is a League Pass game. Okay, so you're probably going to see people sit. Got to hit this one, too. Put it up on the screen. Could be Travis. I don't know what CA69.99 is. That sounds like a made-up currency, so this is probably only like $1 or $2. Took home over $100,000 shipping the afternoon only. I saw those tweets this morning. I saw you pick that bad boy up. Congratulations. I know how that must feel. Kudos. Love to see it. So shout out to Travis for picking up 100K yesterday in the NFL streets. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for the super chat too. Very much appreciated. It's good to see, man. Congratulations. Congratulations. Take that made-up currency, though, somewhere else. I don't need that. All right, Bam usage rate when these guys are healthy is at 24. Jimmy Butler. Hero's at 25.5. Butler's at 25.5. And then Kyle Lowry is at... Is that really 15? Yeah. Whew. Okie doke. All right, that is going to be the Miami Heat. Then we go to Milwaukee. I'm guessing Milwaukee is easy to project in this moment. What that matters moving forward is a very different conversation. But they are on a back-to-back. We don't know their status, so it's hard to really dig in here. 35 minutes for Dame seems fine. 28 minutes for Malik Beasley seems fine. Middleton at 24 seems fine. 30 for Brook Lopez seems fine. 33 for Giannis is fine. If Giannis plays, who knows? Turns out to be 144 Canadian. What a victory. What a victory. We're not going to get massive minutes out of anybody here, right? Unless anybody ends up out. guess I need a couple more minutes here to Jay Crowder at the expense of somebody. I guess Robin Lopez. Let's get Jay Crowder up to 25. I'll add 2 more to Beauchamp. We need news here for Milwaukee, so I don't want to go too crazy. Let's look at this game, which I don't expect to look great. 223 total, one of the lower totals for Miami. Yeah, not a single person projects at 5x or higher. Bam's fine. Love's fine. Hero's fine. Butler's fine. None of these guys are priorities. Very, very low interest in the Miami Heat. On the Milwaukee end, even less interest here probably. Now, Giannis, clearly in play at 11K. Dame at 10K feels a little lofty. I can't lie there. For the extra $1,000, you're just so much better off going to Giannis. He's such a better per minute dude. But really, none of this matters. We need to find out Milwaukee's status, so we're going to keep it moving. 4 to go. Golden State and the New Orleans Pelicans. This is definitely the best game that you could watch today other than Orlando and the Lakers. As we look at Golden State, take a look at the injury report. Warriors are on a back-to-back, apparently. Oh, yeah, they beat Houston last night. So who knows who's sitting here for Golden State tonight? I certainly don't. I'm going to project these guys like I normally do. We do have Draymond back, which matters. So let's go ahead and get all of the non-real people out. Because we're definitely going to bring Looney's minutes back down to his normal, like, Kevon Looney range. Then Draymond can step in. He played 20 minutes yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be playing the back-to-back. I can't project him for 20 minutes. Let's go 26 for Draymond today. And then we're going to need Kuminga in for some pretty standard, like 18-ish. I wonder if this is the end of Dario Saric. I guess it's not, but it might be down the line. If we give Saric 18 minutes as well. The rest of these guys seem okay. We got Gary Payton and Moses Moody as the only other guys in the rotation. That makes a ton of sense to me. So let's go ahead and drop Steph down to the 1. All in for 33 minutes. Oh, yeah, Chris Paul's coming off the bench now. Shit. Totally forgot. So Chris Paul's not going to be playing those massive minutes anymore. Let's bring him down to 28. That gives me 20 here and 14. All right, so I have 26 minutes to split between Moses Moody and Gary Payton. Boom. Easy stuff. Easy work. That can all hold. Now let's go ahead and look at the New Orleans Pelicans. Wait, look, we need to, it's the NBA, so we know the deal. We're, and I know you know this too, but we're not digging into that kind of shit until 1:30. That kind of stuff is for the deeper dive. All right, now for the Pels. Pelicans are coming off of a 9-point win against the Knicks 2 nights ago. For New Orleans, 250 people. Keep hitting that thumbs up. Helps out a ton. I'm going to delete their whole rotation just because I think that makes more sense. CJ, yeah, we're going to lock CJ in for 33. Joval has been Joval. Let's go 27. We get BI in for 34. We get Zion in for 32. We get Herb Jones in for 32. I don't know. I think that spread looks about right. Maybe we're not getting Chris Paul tonight. I don't know. I don't think that matters too much. We'll see. We'll probably lose somebody. All right, let's pop Larry Nance in. He's been playing minimally. And then we got to get Dyson Daniels in for like 20 minutes. We have to get Kira Lewis in for like backup point guard run. And Matt Ryan actually played a bit in their most recent game against the Knicks. Was that weird playing time? No, he like legit part of the rotation, dude. So Matt Ryan, maybe 18 minutes. I don't even have this person on the team. HIJKL. Matt Ryan, New Orleans Pelicans. We'll give Matt Ryan 16 minutes. That leaves me 18. Who don't I have projected right now? Jordan Hawkins, I guess. And then we could think about adjusting someone else's minutes. So we'll get Jordan Hawkins in for 16. And then I'm just going to hide 2 on Cody Zeller. Probably should change rates, but these idiots haven't played enough games alongside of each other. So we're going to look this one up. Games played where CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson all played in the game. I think it's like 6 games or 7 games or like some oddly low number. $12 games. They played 12 games alongside of each other. CJ has a 23% usage rate. Brandon Ingram is at 28.8. So his really doesn't go away. Zion in that situation is at 27.5. So I think the rest of that will fall into place. I don't really care too much about anybody else's usage rates. Rest of the rates can stay the same. That's going to be the end of this game. So let's look at Golden State. Now we know we might see some changes here. As I look at Golden State, they seem unplayable on DraftKings. I don't think there's a single good play unless we get someone or someone's ruled out. I got to bump up. I'm just noticing here. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't see any way that we're playing someone from Golden State in bulk. I do think you can play Joval at 5,700. I think you can play Herb Jones at 5K. I think Brandon Ingram is my favorite Pelican at 8K, just because you're crossing shooting guard, small forward. Do I want to go to Zion? No, but I wouldn't mind it. I don't want to go to CJ at 7,300. I think Brandon Ingram is your best Pelican. Detroit, almost called them the Tigers. They are 5.5-point dogs in Oklahoma City, 226 total. Pistons, wild team, coming off of the dub against the Chicago Bulls a couple nights ago. For Detroit. No Boyan, no no Livers, no Monty Morris. James Wiseman probable. I don't think that's going to be all that important. Oklahoma City is on the back-to-back. They got embarrassed by the Denver Nuggets. I think that's okay for them because the Denver Nuggets are really good. So let's take a look at the minutes that have been played so far for the Pistons, because I do think that's pretty important. and they're a weird team. That's not how you spell Detroit. All right. So let's go ahead, get Jalen Duren in for 32 minutes. We're going to get Beef Stew in for 33 minutes. We're going to get Cade in for 33 minutes. 34 minutes, actually. Asar Thompson's playing like 29 a game. Killian Hayes is playing big minutes, somewhere in that 28 range. And then let's get Burks in for something like 26. We want to get Jaden Ivey in for, 22. Not a lot, at least. That's for sure. And then we got to get Bagley and Joe Harris, and that's it. So we're going to go Bagley, who has played like 15 minutes a night. I'll go 14. We'll bump up Stu one spot. And then Joe Harris at 11 or 12. I think I'm missing someone then, too. I'll bump up some minutes for some of the guys that are still in. Have they been running a 9-man rotation? Oh, yeah, I got to get Sasser in there, too. And then Marcus Sasser, I'll give him 10 just to make life easier. All right, so Jaden Ivey, we're going to drop down here. Now we'll drop Hayes down. 424, 224. We'll do something like that. Excited to see how Duren continues to rebound. That should go well. That's going to be Detroit. Duren should have a big day on the boards, you would think. Yeah, SMP, I'm with you there. I like OKC to right the ship. I think Oklahoma City is going to smack teams they should. And when they run into Denver, they're just like not ready for that yet. So yeah, I like OKC in my mind for this one. Let's look at that OKC team. Coming off of the back-to-back. You kind of assume someone sits, but I don't have a clue who that's going to be. I actually probably don't have too much I want to change in this rotation either. 35 for Shea, 32 for Dort, 33 for Giddey, 32 for Jalen Williams, 28 for Chet. I guess Olivier Sarr, they're going to bounce around with everybody else. I got Jang in for minutes. Isaiah Joe's minutes aren't going anywhere. Seems like Cason Wallace's minutes aren't going anywhere. Those final two guys are always going to be just like random dudes, especially once Kenrich Williams gets back. Misic could be playing. So I don't have any other changes that I want to make here. Actually, I do want to take a quick look at their usage rates. So let's just say in games where SGA, Dort, Giddey, and Jalen Williams all played, I just want to make sure I got Shea's usage rate good tonight. Detroit winning tonight. That would be surprising. That would be surprising. All right, Shea's played 2,000 minutes, 32% usage rate. Yeah, let's bring that bad boy up. Giddey at 24, Dort at 19. And then Jalen Williams is at like 17 and a half. That'll be fine. We've only seen 82 minutes of Chet in that situation, but he does have a 20% usage rate. I think that we could lock in there with Oklahoma City. Now, what do we see? This one I have a feeling is going to look interesting. So I prefer... It's hard to not prefer Isaiah Stewart to Jalen Duren, even with how well he's played. Duren up to 7,100 center only. Like, he projects really well, clearly. 7,100 is too much for Duren. And 5,200 power forward center for Beef Stew, I think, is the best thing you can get to from the Pistons. Alec Burks is a decent enough value at 4,500. Killian Hayes is a decent enough value at 4,700. I don't really want too much of Cade at 88, only shooting guard eligible. I like Isaiah Stewart more than anybody else on the Pistons. And then OKC, $7,100 Giddey, $5,400 Dort, both fine. SGA at 10.6 is fine. It's the guy you want, probably. After that, not a lot. Nobody stands out on the slate. It's a really annoying slate. So I assume we're going to end up getting wild news later to change everything that we're talking about. 2 games to go. Utah Jazz are 8.5-point dogs in Denver. 230 total. Denver on the back-to-back. They're going home, taking on Utah. I wouldn't be surprised at all if somebody's sitting here. Certainly wouldn't be surprised if, like, Jamal Murray sits in this spot. I don't know about you guys, but I would not be surprised to see someone here sit from, or MPJ could easily sit here. They got a lot of options after that. So let's look at Utah. I think 34 for Markkanen is fine. 28 for Kessler is probably fine for right now. He has been bad. THT. All of this is really rough here for Utah. 32 for Clarkson. I guess John Collins is going to play like 31 minutes a night. What do we do here with THT? Because they got the shit kicked out of them by Phoenix. I'm going to bring THT's minutes down a little bit. We're going to go down to 26. And then everything else is just like backups. We'll get like Keontae George. We'll get Chris Dunn. We'll get Kelly Olynyk. We'll get Colin Sexton. We'll get Akbaji. And that's 10. Not too much else to project here, so I got to bump a couple people. I really have 10 free minutes? Do I really? All right, let's bump Keontae George to 18. Let's get Chris Dunn up to no changes. I guess we can take Colin Sexton up to 22. That's probably not going to matter that much either. I'm just going to hide 6 minutes then on Fontecchio, I guess. I don't have a lot of changes that I want to make for this team. Other than I probably need to bump Lauri Markkanen's usage rate, but I'll worry about that later. Okay. Ralph, that's a shame. You should not make 23-leg parlays. You have no one to blame but yourself. No sympathy from me. On Denver, I can't imagine them making a single change to their rotation until we hear something different. I guess I give Peyton Watson a little bit more playing time. Yeah, I'm just going to hold here on Denver. Not the type of team I need to make changes for until we see something. So for Utah, $5,600 Walker Kessler, sure. 0.63 fantasy points per minute for Kessler so far this season is ultra bad. If I'm going to anybody else, though, it's probably one of Collins or Clarkson. I don't find Markkanen to be all that appealing, although I probably have his usage rate way too high or way too low. Might need to take a look at it. That's a later thing. For Denver, play Nikola Jokic, 11-8. You won't feel bad about it. 1.7 fantasy points per minute. There's going to be plenty of value to find for sure. So don't be afraid to go to Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon, Murray, both fine options. Look, any starter is going to look good for Denver. But now we close it out. Final game of the night. Late night hammer. And I actually really want to watch this one. The Orlando Magic in Los Angeles taking on the Lakers. 220.5 total. 2.5 point game. This is basically a coin flip. Vegas is kind of saying these teams are the same team. Now, the Lakers are on a back-to-back. They lost by 5 to Sacramento last night. That's not the worst back-to-back in the world. And away to home back-to-backs, not all that bad, especially when you're leaving from Sacramento. So I don't care too much about the back-to-back unless it matters for LeBron or AD or something like that. For Orlando, none of the injury news is relevant. I don't even think the rotation is all that interesting to look at. I think that we can mostly keep Orlando the way that they've been projected. Banchero, Wagner, Carter, Anthony, Fultz. Like, we know what these guys are doing. They're not moving anybody around. So I'm going to keep this rotation here for Orlando. And then on the Lakers end, now the expectation, I think it's just a guess for me right now, but no, that's the wrong Los Angeles team. I think we should expect LeBron to not play today. That just makes the most sense. You would think AD would also sit. But we don't know. But my expectation is LeBron James is not playing today's game. I don't really see the logic in it. But I can't project it like that. So it's kind of troublesome. So far, D'Angelo Russell is playing massive minutes. I'm redoing this entire rotation. This is probably not going to look correct in the long run. We're going to go 34 to D'Angelo Russell. We're going to go 28 to Austin Reeves. Whoops. What is happening? There we go. 28 to Austin Reeves. I'm going to go 33 to LeBron James. I'm going to go 36 to Anthony Davis. We're going to go, 28 to Taurean Prince. We're going to go 30 to Gabe Vincent. We'll go 28 to Gabe Vincent. We're going to go like 16 for Christian Wood. Probably go another 16 to Rui. We have 11 minutes left over. That's Jackson Hayes-ish. We'll take Reeves up to 30. Jackson Hayes to 9. That'll be the Lakers. So we are done that game. As we look at Orlando, Wendell Carter Jr. as a value center. I think Fultz might actually be the best guy you can get to if you think he plays 30 minutes, which might not be the case. So I'm going to take 1 minute away from Fultz. We're going to give that to Gary Harris just as a placeholder. I don't really like much of Orlando. We're going to see it when we run the crunches. Look, AD for 9,600, center only, yuck. Very hard to prioritize AD without that power forward eligibility. Look, to me, it's $6,100 D'Angelo Russell. That's the best guy that you can get to from the Lakers. But everything changes the moment someone gets ruled out here. So we will have to figure that out a little bit later. But for now, hit that like button, folks. It is time for us to run some crunches. I'll have contenders videos out in a little bit. Prize picks video on the Odd Shopper channel if you're looking to make some extra money. That is the way to do it. Strategy show with Adam today. Deeper dive with Adam. You'll have a live before lock later tonight. We have a great day of content planned for everybody. Please do not miss it. I'm so happy you guys are here for today's show. Now let's run some crunches and see what we've got on this lovely, lovely slate. Let me grab DraftKings projections first. They aren't in the right order. I need to set up a script to copy these things. For some reason, I didn't do that yet. All right, DraftKings, optimal. We have... I don't really know what's going to show up here. I don't think that anybody immediately looked like a good play. That's what's really crazy about today's slate. Nobody looked great. Optimal lineups. 272.7. Optimal by 0.4. Josh Giddey, Mikal Bridges, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, Vooch, Bane, Beef Stew, Jakob Poeltl. Most expensive guy is $8,600 Bane. It's just so flat. So flat. Did we even get an expensive guy anywhere? At no point in time in those 5 lineups, Luka, Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Tatum, Lillard, Curry. We didn't get our first guy till 8,600. We need this is going to be a very hard slate. Very, very hard. So I love this kind of slate because I make my own projections. That like makes me feel good because those little intricacies of having differences are like everything you need like this. But we also know that it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to get so many changes. Everything will look different. Let's look at the power rankings because this is, again, I have no idea where everybody's going to show up here. But I think it's going to be really flat. If I were playing a random 150 lineups right now, it looks like Isaiah Stewart is at the top of the heap. Mikal Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Giddey, Desmond Bane, Jalen Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, Mark Williams, Nikola Vucevic, Royce O'Neal. Just a lack of pay-up options, and that's terrifying. When everybody pay-up kind of looks the same, things get really scary. The guy that we got the most, either AD at 9,600 or Giannis at 11K. But sifting through this is very, very difficult. We got a really hard slate on our hands, barring news. Let's close this out with FanDuel. What else we got here? What in the world? Okay, there we go. All right, FanDuel. For some reason, I wasn't able to grab the FanDuel projections. My column was like all jacked up. Still having trouble. Why is this happening? Must be that kind of morning. All right, there we go. All right, projections for FanDuel. Yeah, I assume Beef Stew comes down for me later on, but I think he does look good for the amount of minutes he's playing, that's for sure. All right, FanDuel. 313.96. Optimal lineup by 0.56. Scoot Henderson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Desmond Bane, Josh Giddey, Brandon Ingram, Mikal Bridges, Wendell Carter Jr., Royce O'Neal, Nikola Vucevic. Whew. Again, like 8,700, Bane, the most expensive guy in that lineup. You get to Drew in one of these, but look at like by salary, it's just nobody. There's nobody at that top end. What does that end up looking like? Let's throw the 100% randomness on it. Dr. DFS. It's no different to me. I won't do anything. Nothing changes. It's just on these situations, you just feel like you're not getting to enough people because everybody looks the same. Dinwiddie, Bridges, Giddey, Royce O'Neal. And like this should make sense. We know to target Charlotte. 3 of these guys with 2 starters out. It makes sense that we see the Nets at the top. Dinwiddie, Bridges, Giddey, O'Neal, Scoot, B.I., Clay, Bane, Drew, Jaylen Brown. 11 games up, 11 games down. At least tomorrow is going to be easy. At least tomorrow is going to be easy. Hey, look, here's a good reason for me to explain the Sims. The status of Joel Embiid last night being ruled in at 701, you just use our late swap tool and handle all of it. Like there's no real reason to stress anymore about late swaps. It doesn't matter. Swap those people out and be done with it. You will get the best possible lineup via ROI after swapping. So if you're using the Sims tool, you're not going to care too much about late news. It makes life way easier. You can have that tool by clicking the link in the description of this video, using the promo code TIPOFF to get yourself 20% off your first package of NBA at Stochastic. Come join in. All right, folks, that's going to be it for me. Process show in the books. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button on your way out the door if you haven't done it yet. NBA strategy show coming up at 10 a.m. Myself, Adam Scher, talking NBA. It's good to be back, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. We're here all week, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. This was The Process.